friends, it's Lorianne Rising. I'm an international award-winning author and a spiritual and intuitive mentor. And today on You Rising is Friendship Friday, where we just connect and chat. I talk about my own journey as it relates to, well, the spiritual journey and everything else we talk about on You Rising. And today, my thoughts are really around channeling, to be honest. It's something that I have been wanting to explore. It's something I've been curious about. And it's been a very interesting, eye-opening week, to be honest. Now, I don't know what your thoughts are on channeling or if it's something that you've come across before, but I know I've heard the word. I know people like Esther Hicks, and there are many other names. That's the one that comes to mind. Lee Harris is another one who talks about channeling for many, many years. I kind of wasn't sure really what to believe, to be honest. It's something that, at least for me, growing up the way I did, among people who even thought intuition was a joke, channeling was pretty out there. And I have some preconceived ideas about what it means. At the same time, I've also had beliefs about, well, I do believe there are other beings on other planes of existence, or maybe just outside of our ability to see them in some way. I mean, after all, you look at the animal world, and because different species see light differently, they see a very different world than we do. So I don't think it's that much of a stretch to think that maybe there are things that we don't see simply because our eyes can't pick up that particular spectrum of light, or however you want to think of it. So maybe there are other things that are trying to communicate with us, but what does it really mean to channel them? And that's something that I have been super curious about. So this past week, I decided to explore it. I actually got a little, just 2-hour little course. It was actually from Lee Harris. I think it was like $20 or something like that. It was super inexpensive. And just to get a feel for it. And I think it's called something like, how to channel and why, which I was really attracted to the and why piece. So I decided to listen to it. And it was so interesting because it just, what was it, the first segment or second segment, he gets into the how and is describing this process that I've been doing for years already. And I was like, wait, so does that mean I'm already channeling? Like, I really had to sit with that. Really had to sit with that. Because I thought the only version of channeling would be somebody like, Esther Hicks, where the voice changes and there's no memory really, or maybe some kind of, or something else comes in and takes over sort of thing. And that's not what he was describing at all. He was describing, you can do a process of journaling, really, where you ask a question and just free write, automatic writing, whatever comes through. It's a form of channeling, is how he referred to it. He described several other forms. He also described something that I've been doing since I was a little kid, where you ask a question, listen for an answer. In fact, I talked about this on another podcast recently. It aired Sunday, February 21st, on a show called Jesse Jameson and Friends on Voice America, where I talked about my own intuitive history and some experiences I've had with actual voices speaking to me, like not inside my head, but an actual voice outside of me, separate from me, disembodied, but did speak to me and had results in the real world from that. But this experience when I was a child of going to my closet every day and just asking, do I take my umbrella today or not? And getting an answer. And the experience of actually having somebody else in my life notice how accurate that was consistently, either direction, take it or don't take it. It was accurate. And growing up, I lived in the Pacific Northwest. If you know anything at all about the Pacific Northwest, one, it's considered a rainforest, so we get 9, 10 months of rain every year. But especially in the spring and the fall, weather can change every 10 minutes. It's kind of a joke to say, if it's raining, just wait 10 minutes, it'll stop, and I grew up like, okay, it's raining really hard. We'll just sit in the car for a couple of minutes. And sure enough, it kind of, subsides and calms down, and then you get out and go into the store kind of thing. So the idea of knowing when to take an umbrella to, what the weather's going to be later in the day, like even the weathermen in the 80s when I was growing up, they kind of did what they could, but it was a joke. Yet this process of me just going to my closet in the morning and asking that question and getting an answer was accurate enough to be noticed by others in my life even before I noticed. And I was like, wait, okay, so Lee Harris in this little course is really just talking about this process of doing that kind of thing. And I'm like, wait, so I've been doing this since I was a kid. How bizarre. So does that mean I channel? Like, what do I take from this? Because part of my process right now is really digging deep and discovering more of my intuitive gifts, more of what might be possible, more of, is there something else that is latent that I can bring out? Is there something that I stopped doing because at some point I was told it didn't exist and it's just a matter of bringing it back? Are there other things about me that I don't know? So I'm exploring that. But coming across this, like, wait, but I'm already doing these things. I've always been doing them. They've always been part of my life. And that was part of his message too in that 2-hour little course. Was like, it's not something for most people that's new. It's always been there in some form. It's just a matter of exploring it and building a relationship. And I'm like, how interesting. A couple of months ago, I was also kind of playing with the idea of incorporating cards. There's a Sovereign Oracle deck and a couple other decks of cards that are pretty neat and fun. And I did a couple of, free sessions with friends to kind of explore how this might work. And it was really neat and interesting. The third one, though, so, of course, I've done several. I'm finally sort of getting comfortable. The third one I did, I really had this whole different energy sort of show up. And I felt like I was being pushed to give a message to this person I was speaking with. And I thought, well, I can't say that to her. And yet, that I felt pushed. So I finally gave her the message, and I thought she was going to tell me I was crazy. I totally did. But her response was actually to take it in, and it hit her so deeply that she just instantly started crying. And she's like, I so needed to hear that. I was like, whoa, okay, this is a whole different experience. So there's something here. There's something that I can do more with. So how do I explore this deeper? Now, I know that I can journal every day for myself. I know that when I'm doing the mentoring sessions and the coaching that I do, there is often a space that opens up, and I'm getting pictures or hearing words or getting some kind of intuitive guidance in terms of how to help this person. I also know sometimes that my own, I want to say, preconceived notions or the day that I've had can sometimes get in the way because I'm human too. And I admit that fully. So I do the best that I can to really prepare the space and open myself up to holding a good space for those who are there. But there are always these pictures. So I'm like, interesting, how might I blend these things together? How might I do more and explore more? And I know for me, I've had this idea, and this is where it gets a little interesting, because I totally admit I've had this idea around the mentoring and coaching that it's supposed to look a certain way. And one of the things I've been thinking about is, what if that's not true? What if it only needed to look that way for a little while to get me back into it, to get me comfortable? And what if it's time to shift and change and evolve that into something that is more unique and more me, and in some way can offer something more to those who are showing up? And I want to explore that further. I really do. What I want to do is explore more of allowing the channeling in and blending that with the mentoring somehow. And I honestly, I don't know what that looks like. I really don't. But I would like to find out. And I would love to have some people being willing to show up and play with me, to explore this with me, because I need people to explore it with, to even find out. See, therein lies sort of the catch around this. Like, yeah, I can do my journaling and I can do my thing every day, but I can't expand this and see what's possible in service to others without others to be of service to. And so this is where I am. This is where I'm hoping and looking forward to possibilities. And I'm excited to see what's possible. I'm excited to offer more and hear feedback. And even if that feedback is like, you're totally off, you have no idea what you're talking about, that's okay, because I can gauge how the energy felt for me. Was I paying attention? Was I letting through the right thing? Was I somehow holding something back? And was that picked up on? The feedback either way is important for me to know what's true. But I need others to play. There are some games you just can't play solo. And this is one of them. And so I'm excited about the possibilities, and I want to open an invitation to you, if you're listening, if you're drawn to this, if you're willing to explore, knowing that this is something that is sort of new, at least in this way for me, and being willing to accept that, and give that feedback. And who knows what might be possible? Just really, who knows? Maybe it's amazing. Maybe it's a total flop and we get a good laugh. Maybe, whatever, something in between. I have no idea. But if you're interested in exploring this with me, I hope you will reach out. Seriously, I really do. Because I'm excited and I'm scared and I'm nervous, and I want to see if this is a new direction, or if it really is something that is just mine. So I got to test the waters. So I'm putting myself out there. If you're drawn to this, there's a couple of things you can do. I'm going to put this out there in two different forms. One is we can do it by email. If you just want to go to my website at lorianrising.com and use the contact form to just send me a simple question, and I will respond to that question. And that'll be the interaction, whatever that looks like. If you'd like more of a conversation and you're willing to record that, check out the opportunity for the Mentorship Monday application and fill that out. You can remain anonymous, so you don't have to share your name. You don't have to be on camera. We can keep the video off, keep you anonymous. But it does give you the opportunity to have this conversation totally free, as well as helping others. Because, if you've caught any of the Mentorship Monday episodes before, the feedback I'm getting on those, one, the bravery of the women who show up is so incredibly inspiring. And the conversations we have are around issues and topics and questions that many, 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 many people struggle with. So know that when you are sharing on the show, whether you remain anonymous or you choose to, be known, it is as much of service to anyone and everyone listening as it can be for you. And so I hope you're willing to do that. But either way, it's a free opportunity. And friend to friend, heart to heart, it would really help me out. And if it is something that does become a service, you're helping me grow who I am so that I can be of greater service to others in the future in the world. And so we all become part of a reciprocal cycle that lifts us all up. And so if you're willing, visit my website. Again, it's loriannrising.com. Reach out to me via email or fill out the Mentorship Monday form. And let's just see what's possible. Let's play. Let's experiment and have a little fun and go from there and just see what's possible. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to the audio podcast or to the YouTube channel, depending on where you're catching these, please do so you never miss an episode. And when you're at the website, you are welcome to sign up for the newsletter as well. I do send out occasional updates. It's not a frequent thing, it's an occasional thing, but you do get to be the first to find out about upcoming events, specials. I'm going to be recording an audio for download that's a meditation style exercise that really opens people up and helps them out. So that's going to be available as part of the downloads on my website and to my email list. I'm going to be doing a women's circle here coming up in a month or two as well. And those notices will go out to the email list, of course. So get on that list so that you can hear about all the fun and exciting and upcoming things. And I'm super excited. I really appreciate your support and your willingness to come play with me. And until next time, my friends, keep rising.